Let's break down the signing, what we think the player, first and foremost, can bring to the roster, assuming health. We know there's a lingering knee issue here.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's like Luke Shen 2.0. He's massive. He's like 6'6", 220. He's got a little bit of a mean edge to him. He hits a lot. Plus, he is a consummate plus player. He doesn't get scored all that often compared to what he provides. He's a big time penalty killer, likes to block shots. And if he ever were to scrap, I mean, Jani Hakanpaa is not a fighter, but I'm just saying I've seen him fight, and he throws left hands and completely surprises the hell out of guys. Plus, he's a huge bear out there. So, I mean, I'm just rattling off outrageous pluses. So what is that guy going to cost? Well, I don't know, 4 or 5 million, 1 point screw all. Like, it's unbelievable. And that's like, I'm running out of fingers on my hand on the pros. And then on the cons, he might have a bad knee, I believe it is, right? But he was out for the Stars in March of last year. In 2024, with all the money and resources in the world, I just don't see how a guy's knee could be so bunged up that it's not, reconstructed and fixed and healed and rehabbed and physioed by this point in time. So I just think the potential for this to be a massively good signing and beneficial to the back end of the Leafs is huge. And if his knee falls apart on day one of camp, well, then welcome to LTIR, like they've done so many times. It's really not a huge risk, I don't think, in my mind, with the potential upside to be massive.
Yeah, I agree. The pros outweigh the cons. I think he's going to be beneficial for the penalty kill too, but he checks a lot of boxes. Like how much we've done this show for 2 years? How much have we talked about having that established right-handed shooting defenseman? I like the comparison, by the way, to Luke Shen. Like, I don't think you can play that up into the lineup, but I think in a 5-6 type look, maybe a 4-5, a Hakanpaa just makes a lot of sense. I like the fact that it's a 1-year deal. Like, I think there's limited risk with it being a 1-year contract as opposed to 2. We just saw with John Klingberg, he played 16 games, and off to Robida Island you go. So like, if something doesn't go according to plan or his knee doesn't hold up, I think you just right your wrongs and move on. Like, it just made too much sense for the Leafs not to make this transaction.
100%. Like, for people who are like, oh, this is just John Klingberg all over again. Well, I like it on paper, him and the way he plays, Craig Berube style, the way that back end, Benoit and McCabe getting, complimented by this big body. All of a sudden, we're a rugged back end where that hasn't been the case. And I don't know if Benoit or Liljegren, if this bumps one of them out. I think a lot of people, it's tough. We'll see how camp goes, see how preseason goes. But, I mean, there's just more bullets in the chamber now. And, we've been dying for a right-handed defenseman. I know, like, nothing's perfect. It's not like this golden goose just gets handed to you. There is a chance that his knee's not perfect, right? There's obviously some cloudiness around there, hence the however many days it was from them when they announced that he was being signed to when it actually got put down on paper. There was some gray area, but you got to think that since March, all the doctors in the world could fix this guy's knee. This isn't 1960 Bobby Orr where you tear your MCL and that could be the end of your career. So I got to assume this kid's healthy. And we just rattled off like 7 huge positives that could really help this team and this back end out. And I mean, it wasn't very long ago. You look at the back end, you're just like, well, I hope Morgan Riley blocks every shot, scores every goal, does every breakout, turns everything to the outside, has a +4, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, and now Morgan Riley is just like a little blip on this back end where, hey, Riley, like, you don't have the weight of the world on your shoulders anymore. Go cook with I want to say no pressure, but it's like, you don't have to carry the weight of this team. You have all these other pieces surrounding you that, I mean, nobody knows, but it could go really, really well. And everyone can look and say, have you seen the Leafs back end lately? And I just am excited for that potential, at least.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.